This is, you discovered that you know you couldn't have children, so how difficult has it been for you to go through this pregnancy with your lovely sister? Because I know how close you are.
It's been one of the toughest years of my life, but also I couldn't be more thrilled that Zoe is expecting a baby, and I just think it's so exciting that she managed to get pregnant before the menopause maybe hit her as well. So I'm totally thrilled for her. But...
And it must have been very hard for you to tell Kathryn, because the minute you found out, you think, you know, she's going to be thrilled for you, but also it must be very hard for her to hear when it's not going to happen.
I rung up Mum and I said, you know, I don't know what am I going to do? Do I wait till my 12-week scan? Do I tell her? And then I phoned Kathryn, sent her a text actually, and said, can I come up to Oxford, take you out for lunch? And then, yeah, I mean, it was a really emotional lunch where I burst into tears, she burst into tears, because it's the happiest moment of my life combined with the worst moment of hers, you know?
Now, Mum plays a big part in all of this, integral to all of this, because Mum had this history, this medical history, and that meant that for her it was early menopause, and Kathryn, her age was?
She was 42 when she went through it.
Yeah.
Right. When did you, or did you think, well, because it happened to Mum, it will happen to me? And, tell us your story and your journey of how you discovered
so
this.
I think it's something that she's always been very open about. Both her and also our grandma went through it at 40. So it's always been at the back of our minds, but it's something that you never really think about when you're in your 20s. And I used to live overseas and was sort of an expedition leader and had a fantastic life. And it's something that I never really thought about. I hadn't met a person I wanted to settle down with and have kids with, so it just sort of got put to the back of my mind, and you kind of think, oh, it won't happen to me, or I've got plenty of time.
I've got years.
Plus, also, she never sat us down, because she wasn't diagnosed, like Kathryn's been, she wasn't diagnosed with the early menopause. She just went through it at 42, which, yes, is early, but it wasn't like she hadn't been given that same diagnosis at Kathryn, so it wasn't like she was avoiding the issue. She just said, you know, you better crack on with it and make sure you have your kids before you're 40. So we thought we had all this time.
So you then got married. So you did meet somebody lovely after all your expeditions and having fun around the world. And when did you discuss children?
Yes, so he's actually got a son from a previous relationship, and it's something that we've always talked about. So the 2 years before we got married, we were talking about having kids, and then it just seemed like the right time. Literally sort of a month before we got married, I came off the pill. And then that's when the symptoms started.
And what happened? Did you notice something immediately when you came off the pill that wasn't quite right?
Yeah, it was probably about a month afterwards. I started experiencing hot flushes, night sweat. I couldn't sleep. I'd get sort of 2 hours sleep a night. And I just felt like my head was in sort of a sack of bran. I felt so dizzy and confused all the time. And I just knew that something wasn't right.
Did you think at that point, ooh, could this be early menopause or perimenopause?
Mum called me.
Yeah.
Mum called me and she said, I think we need to have a conversation with Kathryn. It sounds like she's going through the menopause. And I was like, no, don't be silly. You know, this can't be, you know. And she was like, we have to sit her down and have that convo.
And how old were you then?
I was 34.
34.
So if you go to the doctors with these symptoms, they wouldn't necessarily look for that, would they? There could be...
No, not initially. Reasons. And I think because I'd just come back from honeymoon in Tanzania, they initially thought it was possibly malaria. So I went through lots of tropical disease tests, and then it was a case of I actually went to my GP, who's been amazing throughout it all, and just sort of said, I think it might be the menopause. I'd like you to do all the tests. And normally at that stage, they wouldn't even consider it. But it's, I think, because I was so persistent.
And probably because you told them about your mum.
And I told them about my mum as well.
They also thought you might have a brain tumour at one point because there was a hormone...
Really?
Yeah, so one of the markers, it was a high prolactin level initially, so it was higher than it should have been. So that was something that I sort of had to contend with as well right at the very start. So
when they eventually said, I'm afraid this is the menopause, what was your immediate reaction, thoughts?
My whole world fell apart. Literally, I sat in the consultant's office and just burst into tears. I just couldn't hold it together. At that point, there was still a little bit of hope that it wasn't the menopause and it was something completely different.
Right.